On today's episode of You Asked, can QLED and mini LED TVs get burn-in? How to solve not getting HDR from the YouTube app on Apple TV 4K. And speaking of Apple TV 4K, does it benefit from HDMI 2.1? And is using a computer monitor instead of a smart TV a good way to avoid privacy issues? All that and more coming up. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and this is You Asked, the show where I answer questions that you asked in hopes that I can help you and others who have similar tech questions. If you've got a question for me, please send it to youasked@digitaltrends.com, and we'll see if your question gets picked to get answered on the show. Tom Sampson writes, is there any benefit to using my Apple TV 4K in an HDMI 2.1 port versus HDMI 2.0? No, there is no benefit to using an HDMI 2.1 port for an Apple TV 4K. The only consumer hardware that I'm aware of that benefits from the bandwidth afforded by HDMI 2.1 ports are the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and a high-end PC pushing 4K 120Hz video signals or 8K 60Hz video signals. Andrew Lopez wants to upgrade to surround sound in his bedroom, but his bed's headboard is against the wall, and he's wondering if he can get decent Dolby Atmos surround without surround speakers. Thanks for sending in the question, Andrew. So I also have a bedroom in which the headboard is up against the opposite wall of the TV. And folks, I know a lot of you out there question whether surround speakers will do anything good for you if, say, your couch is up against a wall. So here's my take on that. While you will not get all of the benefit of properly placed and spaced surround speakers relative to your listening position when your back's up against the wall, you can still get some benefit from having surround speakers on your bedside table. You get a little bit of side fill, and if you can place them even further out to the side than, say, 4 feet from each head as one sits on the bed or couch, you won't have to turn them down quite as much to keep them from seeming like they're right next to your head. But even on a bedside table or nightstand, I was able to dial down my surround speakers so they enhance the overall sound field without being a distraction. I definitely prefer having them to not having them. Again, you're not getting the full intended or best surround or Atmos effect, but you are getting a little something, and I prefer having it to not having it. With that said, you can often save yourself some money by foregoing the surround speakers and instead getting a soundbar with up-firing drivers and side-firing drivers, which can provide some decent virtual surround and reflected surround effects. The Sonos Arc is a great example of such a soundbar, but there are others out there. The key is in the numbers. Remember the first number in, let's say, a 5.1.2 system as an example. The first number represents the main channels, the second number represents the subwoofer channels, and the third number refers to the Atmos or height effect channels. So what you want to look for is a 3.1.2, 5.1.2, 7.1.2, and even 9.1.2. Look for those descriptions on a soundbar that does not include surround speakers, and that will be an indication that it supports Atmos from the soundbar itself. Dustin Stacy says they are not getting HDR from the YouTube app on their Apple TV and asked if they should just use the YouTube app built into the TV instead. Dustin, there is no reason you should not be getting HDR from the YouTube app on your Apple TV 4K. If you are 100% sure the content that you're watching is in HDR, and don't just trust the title of the video because sometimes those lie, then my best guess is that there is a setting amiss in your Apple TV. I'm curious whether you're getting HDR from other streaming apps though. I mean, it sounds like you're just having a problem with YouTube. Anyway, try going to Settings, then Video and Audio, then Match Content, then choose Match Dynamic Range. Make sure that's turned on so that the Apple TV 4K will match its output to whatever the dynamic range of the content you're watching happens to be. If you still don't get HDR from a video you know for sure is an HDR on YouTube, then the problem resides elsewhere. But that is not a problem inherent to the Apple TV 4K. Gary Eichelberger wrote in wondering if using a computer monitor instead of a smart TV was a good idea if using a PC or an external streaming device. He wrapped up the email stating, I frankly just don't really trust that disabling the smart features really prevents data collection. So Gary, I did this for a while myself. I used a KTC OLED monitor we were testing with a Chromecast with Google TV connected to it, and it did work. The issue with monitors is that they don't have picture processing built in. Now, maybe that's not an issue if you're using a PC, where image processing is taken care of by whatever GPU you have in that machine. But streaming boxes and sticks don't have anything in the way of picture processing. They rely on a TV to do that job, and you might find that not everything you watch looks all that great because you have a monitor that isn't trying to clean up any noise or other artifacts. It's not upscaling unless you're using an NVIDIA Shield, and most monitor speakers are terrible if they even have them in the first place. Worse than crappy TV speakers even. So you're probably looking at having to get some kind of audio solution too. But here's the thing, there's not any difference between using Android TV, Google TV, Roku, Fire TV, whether they're built into a TV or into an external device. Same streaming OS, same privacy concerns. So maybe you get better privacy using a PC if you've got it locked down really well, but any other streaming box or stick is going to come with the same privacy concerns as if that platform were built into the smart TV itself. The only exception is Samsung's Tizen and LG's WebOS, and that's only because they aren't available in a streaming box or stick. Dorink24 has a Sonos Arc and Sonos Sub with Sonos One speakers as their surrounds, and they wondered if upgrading the surrounds from the Sonos Ones to the Sonos Era 300s would be worth it. So I don't know if it would be worth it to you. I can say that I would absolutely make that upgrade. And the reason why is that the Atmos effects and overall Atmos enhancement that you would get from a pair of Era 300s is going to represent a significant improvement in your system sound. At least I think it is a significant improvement. And this presumes that you don't have those speakers in a bookshelf where upfiring drivers couldn't do their job. But yeah, I would 100% do that upgrade when it was financially feasible to do so. DJ Technovibe wants to know if you can get burn-in on QLED/mini LED TVs. So let's first recognize that LED, QLED, mini LED, these are all different types of LCD TVs. They all have LCD panels in them. Now, to answer the question properly, I'm gonna have to get kind of pedantic. LCD TVs are not susceptible to burn-in by the commonly accepted definition of the term burn-in. Burn-in is a term that was coined back in the CRT TV days, when CRT displays were used for computer monitors, video arcade consoles, and even commercial displays. What happened was that the phosphors coating the back of the TV glass were burnt up by the cathode ray tube in the TV, and that caused a burned-in image. That term carried through to plasma TVs and now OLED TVs. And technically, it's an inaccurate description of what is actually taking place. When plasma and OLED TVs get a burned-in image, it's because the phosphorescent gas in plasma or the organic compounds in OLED in certain parts of the screen get worn out faster than surrounding areas. So it's more like burn out, really. Now you can think of an LCD cell like a little lens that lets light through when it's open and shuts down light when it's closed. It can't really burn in. It can get stuck, but that's a different issue. Anyway, you can't burn in the CNN logo on your LCD TV. However, the longer and harder you drive an LCD TV, the more the LCD cells and other parts of the TV will wear out. You may start seeing some vignetting, darkness around the edges and corners of the TV. You may see the image on the TV getting dull after a ridiculous number of hours of use, but you will not get burn-in. Joe S. wants to know if it's safe to assume that the Vision Pro with AirPods Pro used for audio is not going to be able to give you that seat rumbling, high pressure punch in the chest feeling that you can get from a proper speaker-based audio system with high quality subwoofers. Yes, Joe, that is true. Earbuds and even headphones can't hit you in the chest with sound. You need to move a lot of air for that concussive effect. Now, you will get a sense of fairly deep bass and impact when you listen to headphones, and the AirPods Pro, they're okay for bass, I suppose, but you need large diaphragms moving air all around you in order to really feel that. Now, I would love to see some way to incorporate bass transducers, sometimes called bass shakers, to give a Vision Pro experience a little more visceral effect. But even then, it's still not the same as having subwoofers that shake you and the things around you. Marcel writes, Caleb, how are you so impossibly handsome and Whoa, wait, how did that one get in there? Sorry, not sure how that one snuck in. Next, Brand Hornick wants to split the signal from his satellite receiver to 2 OLED TVs. One will need a 6-foot cable and the other a 30-foot cable, and he wants a recommendation on a splitter to do this. Brad, I would probably just get the mono-price Blackbird 4K 1x2 amplifier splitter for $20. We'll put a link down in the description. And then get yourself some high-quality HDMI cables. Monoprice happens to sell those too. I just picked Monoprice because they're easy and because I've used their products before. This is not a specific endorsement, but it's a low-hanging fruit. I trust their stuff, so maybe go with that. Now, with the amplified splitter, you can probably get away without using an active HDMI cable, but if you have trouble with signal dropout at that more distant TV, even with the amplified splitter, spring for an active fiber optic HDMI cable. They're a little bit more pricey, but it will do the job beyond 30 feet even. Folks, I think that's a good place to stop. Thanks as always for watching. If you're new to this series, we do it every week, so subscribe to the channel for more. Hit this video with a like, it helps our channel tremendously, and thank you so much. I'll see y'all on the next one, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like.